What's going on, everybody? My name is Odin Wolf. Glad to be back from the holidays. It's been a while since I've talked to you guys and uploaded a video, so I did want to start off by saying happy belated Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you were able to spend some quality time with your family and friends and had an overall enjoyable time. So we're actually going to be playing some Rainbow Six Siege in this video, believe it or not. And starting things off with this first little clip here, as you'll see here, I get my retinas singed off, but luckily, to my amazement, we were able to take this guy down somehow. Snuck in a little sneaky headshot or something through the wall here. So needless to say, I was pretty caught off guard by that clip. But anyway, like I said, we're playing some Rainbow Six Siege in this video, and I do want to apologize for the lack of game audio that's playing in the background. So we got some Monster Cat music going. Whatever reason, Shadowplay decided it did not want to record audio. It may have been me switching back and forth between my output devices, between my headset and my speakers, and Shadowplay doesn't really cooperate very well when you do that, so that's probably what it was. But anyway, so in this video, I actually joined up with my friend Lambert. He had been playing some rounds with some a group of other guys, and they were short one man, needed a fifth man, so I volunteered, and we went on a pretty nice little tear and actually won quite a few rounds in a row, so that's what you'll be seeing here. And believe it or not, I've actually started to enjoy this game. It's really saying a lot coming from the abysmal experience that I had through the beta, and overall just starting off with the full release of the game. I was not enjoying myself at all, but really, now that I think back about it, it's just the overall differences in the style of gameplay and the way you have to attack and defend in this game. It's nothing like what I'm used to doing in Battlefield and some of the other, run and gun first-person shooters. You really have to kind of sit back and analyze and think about what you're doing, and team play is a big priority in this game. The more communication you have, or the better your team communicates, the more you're likely, or the higher your chances are of coming out with a win. So, like I said, squadding up with these guys, we were able to communicate over Discord pretty well, and pretty much had a good idea of where the enemy was at all times, so that really plays into our success. So like you see here, I'm using I believe this is Capcan, which is one of the defenders. His device, or his ability, is the red laser trip lines you'll see there on the doors and the walls and windows and stuff. But I just, for whatever reason, I'm drawn to the Russians in this game. The Russian attacker and defender in this game is by far my favorite. I'm fused 90% of the time on the attacking side, unless it's hostage. If it's hostage, I usually go with Blitz, who is the guy that you saw in the first clip that has the shield with the flash on it. I really like running that. And then sometimes I'll go with Glaz, the sniper class. But majority of the time, I'm either going to be playing Fuse or Blitz on the attacking side, and on the defending side, I'm either going to be running with Capcan or Jaeger, I believe it is. So anyway, as you can see here, Lambert got a nice little back rage off, and we were able to communicate where the two enemies were, and he snuck up and took them out. So like I said, communication in this game is key. Now you'll see there I'm running Blitz with the shield here, and I ADS'd and took that guy out. Some of the changes they've made since the initial alpha really hinder your ability to hip fire these pistols, which is a really good thing. I'm really glad that they did that. At first I thought it kind of went overboard, and that the shield classes were not going to be as useful as they could be, but like I said, it just took me some time to get adjusted and really feel how you have to go about playing this class. And now that I have a better understanding of it, I've been able to be more successful. So I would always suggest that if you're going to try to attack somebody, unless they're point blank up in your face, you need to be ADS'd and shooting your pistol. But that causes a bit of a question in your mind. Like, you have to really think about whether, if this guy's looking at me and he's ready to shoot me, I definitely do not need to drop my shield and try to shoot back at him. So that's one thing Blitz does good, is being able to blind the enemy. As you'll see here, he has no way to fight back unless he just gets a lucky headshot like I did in that first clip. So you really have to kind of time out and think about when you're going to try to drop your shield and shoot people. So we're able to get another win there. Now moving on here, playing some more Capcan, and this is one of the key things that I like doing when I'm defending, especially if we've got a good team of people that are communicating and know what they're doing. If you've got enough people staying in the objective room, I like to kind of float around the map and just try to catch the attackers off guard when they're not expecting me to be in a different room. And that's what we're able to do here. You'll see me take down, I believe, 4 of the attackers. So take one guy out there, get down behind this counter for a quick reload, and catch another guy there in the head. So that's another key thing to remember in this game is no matter what weapon you're using, if you hit somebody in the dome, they're going down with 1 shot. Now that to me can be a good thing, and at other times it can be a huge annoyance. Because if it's something like that where I know that I've got a clean shot on somebody, I've thought out where I'm aiming, and I intended to shoot him in the head, I can kind of understand that. But when you have instances where you sneak up on somebody, you catch them off guard, they're not anticipating you being there, and they just whip around and hip fire and spray bullets everywhere, and one of them happens to hit you in the head, that is the most rage-inducing, frustrating thing about this game. And so, like I said, at times it can be good and sometimes it can be bad, and it makes you think maybe they should look at it more and try to plan out whether or not this is something we want to look at. Because especially if you've got somebody that's running Rook on defense and they put down those armor plates, and that really, you know, reduces the amount of damage you take to the chest and the arms and the other body parts. Whereas even if you're doing that, you still can be 1 shot in the head. So it just causes a big discrepancy in the damage department when you've got some of these guns, especially if you put a suppressor on a gun, that lowers the damage output even further. So it's almost like if somebody's, you know, if you're wearing body plates and the person that's shooting you is using a suppressor, there's such a discrepancy between how much damage they're doing to your body and then how much damage they can do to 1 shot in your head. I mean, I know it's realistic. People say, okay, it's realistic. That's the case, but, you know, for game balance wise, I don't know if that's always the best option. So I don't know. Like I said, that's one of those hot debated topics and can be further debated in another video. But we get a nice back rage off here on these 2 gentlemen that weren't paying attention. Like I said, that's another one of those benefits of being able to float around the map and have somebody on the cameras or somebody that can spot and know exactly where they're at and communicate that to you. So this next little clip here, you'll see we're on the attacking side. I'm running Fuse here. Sneak around, get this guy in the head. There's going to be one more guy around the corner here, which luckily I got another headshot there and took him down fairly easily. But as you'll see here, I get caught off by this guy with the shotgun. I was not expecting him to be there. So we're not impenetrable or not invulnerable, that's to say the least. So the changes to the shield they made, like I mentioned, is one change they've made since the initial alpha test and the beta test, and I think that's one thing that was a good change. However, there still are things about the game that are needed to be tweaked or should be still worked on, and the biggest thing about that, I think, is going to be the netcode. And once again, unfortunately, we're here in you know, another multiplayer tactical type shooter that's, you know, going to be extremely dependent on how well the netcode reacts and needs a good solid netcode. And it's not to say that this game is on the level of a Battlefield 4 when it first launched, or some of these games that have just horrendous netcode and hit registration, but there are still times where I feel like, you know, I'm a good 3 to 12 feet behind the wall. That's exaggeration. 12 feet is an exaggeration, obviously, but you know, you get so mad sometimes you feel like you're clearly in cover and you're still taking damage. And there's other times where players will be, you know, they're on your screen it appears they've got their back to you, but in reality on their screen they're staring at you the whole time. So, you know, I'll come up on a guy or multiple guys maybe, and I see that they've got their back to me, so I'm not gonna initially just come around the corner and start spraying at the first guy I see. If they've got their back to me, I'm gonna try to you know, sort of assess what's going on and think about which one I need to shoot first. Well, 9 times out of 10, if I'm looking at their back, before I can even fire off the first bullet, I'm dead, 1 shot to the head, because on the guy's screen he's looking at me, but yet on my screen he's not. So I have no way to anticipate whether I should be shooting at that guy or not. So, like I said, it can be frustrating, but still, I'm enjoying the game as it is. It's a ton of fun when it works correctly. That guy did a nice scorpion pose for us in the death cam there, and that other guy was oblivious. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up, guys. I do want to leave you with this last little clip here. This has to be the funniest way I've ever went around in Rainbow Six, so I'll kind of try to break it down in case you miss it here. We're working our way in. We've got one of the defenders in the room next to us, and the hostage is there. The defender actually injures the hostage, so all we have to do is let the hostage die, and we win. But you can see it ended pretty quickly there, and if you'll watch on the kill cam, you'll see why. when the hostage was injured, he kind of fell back into the barbed wire there, which happened to be electrocuted. So he's fried now. But anyway, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. I appreciate it as always, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks.